However, the first question a lot of people ask is, what does this mean for reNFT when there's a new token standard? And there's two things. One is, in our opinion, a generalized standard is a bit of a pipe dream at the moment. And kind of what I mean by that is, there's people have to understand that projects, when they're implementing a new token standard, they actually have to, they have to wrap assets. Of course, if they have an upgradable contract, which usually isn't the case, but projects have a lot of other issues to focus on than forcing their users to wrap assets to a new standard, which new marketplaces, new and existing, have to also support for buying and selling. It's very, very difficult to get projects to adopt and move to something. It's probably the most difficult thing. If you followed, cryptocurrency for some time, you would get that, especially with most contracts that are highly secure being non-upgradable. Because also you start to fragment liquidity, right? You start to have multiple contracts. You start to have, not only, this would also mean that, you're not only having volume on one contract on a marketplace like OpenSea, but another as well. On top of that, we've been working with pretty much most major games across all blockchains being their plug and play rental infrastructure. And, it doesn't address, I would say, 99% of use cases, how they're handling rentals, where the real activity is that we're seeing. And kind of what I mean by that is, like, every different game we speak with has different edge cases, different complexities in their ecosystems. Some of them are doing off-chain things, on-chain things, strictly off-chain for some stuff, strictly on-chain for other stuff. And majority of them also want our rev share solution, right? Which has that no upfront rental price flow. So while the 4907 is really cool and really interesting, and I think pushing space forward greatly, it doesn't address a lot of the things that we're seeing. On top of that, another major thing is, in fact, if people do start adopting the 4907 standard and this kind of delegation that's built in there for the more traditional rentals, we'll strictly adopt it, right? The entire point of our front-facing platform has been, it will eventually turn into this aggregator of sorts, right? Aggregating rentals on all marketplaces, individual marketplaces, games that build it themselves as well. All these different kind of things. There's enough to go around for everyone. So in fact, it would actually make our lives easier in a sense, and we'll aggregate every rental into our platform and then compete on a UX level as well. So that's one of the biggest things. But in general, I think, standards are great for, multiple year out. But what we're seeing with games, it's not where they're going to focus their attention. They want something more like us that come in, handle from A to Z, build custom functionality. Like a lot of these games, we're building completely custom contracts from the ground up. We're building, different infrastructure directly into the games and working hand in hand as essentially free third-party contractors. And that's just the reality of rentals in the current state, right? And we know that, we recognize it, and we're the ones that are going to, actually handle that challenge.